How's it going, everybody? Put the old 461 away. There we go. How you guys doing? I'm doing well. Hope everybody's doing well out there in YouTube land, wherever you might be. Whether you're on the up there, down there, east, west. It's so cool that there's so many people hanging out on this channel. What are we doing today? Well, I'm all fired up from that Super Pro build, and I just completed it, what, a week ago or whatever. I'm all fired up from the Super Pro build, so the best thing to do when you're fired up for one build is start another. We got the bottom end done on this 266 with those Go Fast bearings. We put our timing wheel on. You guys have seen that before. I have it approximately at top dead center. Let's grab that Go Fast CCC forged Borescope and the Highway 52mm big bore top end. Let's bolt that on here and get our baseline timing numbers. I'll write them down in the book so you guys can see. I want you guys to see as much timing numbers as possible, and maybe you can kind of figure out what's going on. They're all close. The similarities are greater than the differences, so the more saws you put a wheel on, time all your saws. Before you start porting, you need to understand what you're seeing here and how to manipulate it. So yeah, I need to get my baseline numbers. I'm going to write them down and do some intense thought. I'm not one to just jump into grinding on stuff. I like to look at a saw. I've done 272s, 266s, so I kind of know what they like. But we want to take what they like to the nth degree on this build. So this isn't going to be a race saw, but it is going to be a warm work saw. So let's put the timing wheel on this, the top end, and I'll hit you guys back up when we're set up. Okay, I got my top end out of the box. I'm just going to give it a quick wipe. So I want to make sure there's nothing in there that will scuff this piston. And it's clean. Same thing with the piston. I'm going to give it a quick wipe. And that way we can start fresh and we know what we're dealing with. Wrist pin, I just unboxed that. I want to bring you guys in close. I'll throw the top end on, show you guys what's going on. This is exciting. Go Fast 266. Nice clean bench. You guys know how I roll. I'm just me. Okay. Again, there's an arrow right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see, focus. There you go. That goes exhaust. There we go. Wrist pin bearing. And make sure everything's clean, happy. This bearing looks new. I don't know. I think somebody was into this saw before me. That top end doesn't look like it's got too much time on it. I think the bottom end was starting to let go. They probably had an air leak or something and the saw got parked. And that's a good thing, because we know, I'm just going to spray this off here, guys. We know that those bearings were going to fail. Oh, I need to get some more brake clean. Note to self, get brake clean when in the city. Okay, wrist pin bearing. Let's try this wrist pin. I bet you it's going to be a beautiful fit. Oh my, wow. That's how I like them. I don't like them too tight. Okay. Let's see if I can do this on camera. It's funny, when you start filming yourself on YouTube, you got to learn how to work blindly around the camera. I'm just going to push this in a little further. Okay, there we go. We got our top end here. Highway 52mm. I like these top ends, guys. Say what you will. I haven't had any bad experiences with them. Okay, first things first. I need to trim this gasket. Where this goes into the cylinder, it's hitting the gasket. We're going to try and just peel that back a little with a razor blade. Try not to let it fall in, but if it does, I'll blow it out. No big deal. Okay, let's I forgot to do that. I trimmed the top and not the bottom. These gaskets are a little bit large, but that's fine. I'd rather too large than too small. Little piece just went in there. It's okay, we will get that piece after. you can't really fill the bottom end when you do this. Okay, there we go. I'll really clean these up when we're this little piece here. I'll really clean these up when we do the final, you know. Okay. Okay. No ring on this saw. There we go. Okay. Top end bolts. Again, I haven't wiped any of this stuff off, but you guys know me. I show you guys exactly what's going on. Show you guys exactly what's going on because it gives you, it just shows you how it is, you know. I don't like to cut too much of the stuff out of my videos because I feel like some of you guys might think that I don't have any issues, or I don't ever have an issue where parts don't fit. Okay, I'm just gonna put, there you go, put that one in there. Just gonna pause you guys and get this cinched down. Okay, folks, let's get our squish number. I grabbed my pad. We're just measuring the clearance between the top of the piston and the top of the, or the bottom of the squish band. You want to make sure there's adequate clearance in there. Okay, I put the clutch on the other side. Let's measure this squish and see where we're at. Judging by the quality of this piston, I guarantee that it's probably going to be right where we want it. Stuff like this, that's this precise, usually is right on the money. I mean, there has to be some variance based on cylinders and deck heights, but okay, let's measure this. I'm going to check it one more time, guys. That's set about 17 thousandths, which is nice and tight. If you didn't have a lathe and you wanted good compression and a safe squish, with 2 thousandths of assembly silicone, that would bring you right around the 20,000 mark, which is exactly where I'd want to be on a standard saw. So I'm already liking this piston. If I had to machine 20 thousandths off of the cylinder just to make up tighter squish, I could, you know, you could end up running out of piston skirt. So I'm already happy. Okay. So I'm getting measurements between 16 and 17 thousandths. I'm going to call it 17 thousandths, and I'm happy with that. That's awesome. Okay, so already sometimes you get a piston with 40 thousandths over. Now you want 20 thousandths. You have to machine, you know, say you want to start with 18 and then 2 thousandths of assembly silicone. You have to machine, you know, 25 thousandths. There's only so much skirt in the exhaust window, right? The lower the cylinder gets, you could go past the skirt. Now you're free porting. Okay, so we got our squish, 17 thousandths. Timing wheel is zeroed. Again, double, triple check your timing wheel always, because again, I always say this, guys. Okay, it's got to be bang on. A degree or two in a build like this could be the difference between it being awesome and it being kind of, you know, kind of lackluster, and I'm not kidding. Okay, so we have our squish. Let's do our exhaust timing. You guys know the deal. I'll just kind of angle you there, and you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll turn the lights off so that I can see. Again, we put the 9 million candle power DeWalt light right there. I just rested on a box. Okay, in the direction of rotation, top dead center. It's going to open somewhere around 100. You guys can see the ray of light there. Here, I'll angle it a little more so you guys can see it. Okay. I look for the first, see that little tiny wee ray? That's where it cracks. 104 after top dead center, right about where we thought it was going to be. Again, guys, just put your time in. Once you start building these saws regularly, you'll kind of know. You'll kind of know where they end up. Again, same little crack. 104 after top dead center. Do it one more time. You guys tell me when it opens. Right there. 104 after top dead center. So I'm going to write that down. Wherever my pen went to. Exhaust. 104 after top dead center. So I thought I would try the Borescope to check our transfer timing. It's kind of neat because it is wireless. And I can look at the screen and see where they open and just turn the wheel until I see it open or close on the screen. So this is our right side transfer. So I'm just lining it up and it opens right about there. That's 121 degrees after top dead center. You can see to the left here, that's the exhaust port. Thank you again, Clint, for donating this to the channel. It's just cool to get an extra set of eyes. Checking your transfers can be something that frustrates people. And again, you can put a ring on top of the piston and turn it to verify. And I probably still will do that. But with this setup, like, look, it's right there. You can see the transfers opening. Okay, now I'm just going to show you guys a quick view of what we're looking at through the exhaust port. I'm always trying to get you guys better shots so that you can see what I see. There's your right transfer. Now I will verify that the left one opens at the same time as the right one. Sometimes they do not, so be aware of that. If one opens first, you will have different transfer charges on both sides of the cylinder, and that can affect power. They both open at 121 on this cylinder, so I'm happy. Okay guys, well that was kind of neat. Again, one of you out there sent me this awesome contraption, this Borescope, and right there, I can accurately see where the rings, or where the transfers open and close. So there you go, there's our intake timing, or our transfer timing. Transfers, I'll show you all this after. Transfers open at 121 degrees after top dead center. So as this thing sits right now, it has 17 degrees of blowdown. Okay, let's go to the other side, to the intake. Okay, here's our intake side. Okay, zoom you guys back out here. Again, so at top dead center, that's your exhaust opens here. 104 after top dead center, right? After top dead center, and it will also close at 104. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, look, it's closed. Okay, so spin this around. Boom, piston's top dead center. Exhaust opens at 104, transfers open 121. The distance between there and there is your blowdown. Okay. Piston's going down, bottom dead center. It's gonna open somewhere around here, I reckon. It's because I've timed so many of these, yep. Okay, what are we at? 74 before top dead center. Let's keep spinning it around. Boom. What are we at? 74 before top dead center. Let's do it a third time. Right about there. There we go. 74 before top dead center. Okay, see where it just cracks? I like showing you guys this stuff. It seems to help you guys. Okay, so intake 74 degrees before top dead center. You can also time it after bottom dead center. Okay, there's two ways to time intakes. I just do before top dead center, because if it opens at 74, watch, okay, boom. If it opens at 74, sorry, let's look, okay, right there, it closes at 74 after top dead center. Okay, again, so 74 degrees intake. If it opens at 74 before top dead center, it closes at 74 after. So 74 times 2 is 148 degrees duration. Okay, exhaust. If the exhaust opens at 104, it closes at 104. Sorry folks, my phone rang there. Okay, if it opens at 104 and closes at 104, that's 208. Okay, the total rotation is 360 minus 208 is, here, let's do it longhand because it's early in the morning. I know, the days before calculator. 2, 5, 2 from 3, 1. There you go. 152 degrees. Okay. Now you guys asked me, do you want these to be similar? No. Not to say you can't have them similar, but in my world that's not a thing. Sometimes they end up being similar, but we can add a lot of intake timing to this thing. I see that. Don't go too far on that number. For the newcomer, if you're just starting porting, I'd go 75, 76 degrees. Okay, if you add 2 degrees to this, that's 4 degrees to that. Okay, our squish, that is the ragged edge of sanity. If you're just starting out and you see a squish like that, remember, you will get plus 0.002 thousandths with your moto seal or whatever you're using. Okay, that's usually what it ends up being. Okay, so that's going to end up being 0.019 inches. That's about as tight as I would go. Again, when you're just starting out, because if you go too tight on your combustion chamber, okay, that's the measurement between here and here. If you go too tight, that piston will expand in both directions. That gets smaller, and you can actually, boom, boom, you'll take the top of your piston off, or you'll mash the corners of your combustion chamber. And also, as carbon builds, right, on those two lips, that'll get smaller and smaller. Okay, if you use a dirty oil, and I'm not going to call out any names. Those of you that know me know which oils I don't like, but I don't want anybody to think I'm ragging on them. If you use a dirty oil, I'd go a bigger squish. Okay, this is going to be a nutso saw, so that's a good number. Okay, so those are our timing numbers. The one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the piston skirt length. Okay, when the piston is at top dead center, okay, when the piston's at top dead center, there is a certain amount of skirt hanging below the exhaust port. I want to know what that length is, because if I decide to machine this cylinder, I need to know how far I can drop it before that skirt will expose the crankcase to the exhaust port. Right here, guys. Okay. Here, top dead center, if this thing wants to stay still today. Okay, the distance between here and here is what I have to work with. I don't even want to come close. The more I drop this cylinder with machining, the shorter the distance between here and here gets, right? Because your port's moving lower. So if I go too far, when the piston, right, you're going to end up with fuel and air spitting out the exhaust port. You'll have a saw that won't idle very good. Now, for race applications, a lot of guys will do that because they're running ragged edge of sanity. If you're building a work saw, don't go there. I mean, you can. Again, guys, do anything you want. The best knowledge is knowledge that you learned and earned. The worst knowledge is something you read and you've never tried, in my opinion, because you never know, right? You could read something and tell everybody that, and then try it and realize that that's not the deal. So again, try anything you want, but I'm just letting you guys know, if you freeport, I'm just setting my tripod back up here. If you freeport too much, you may end up with a saw that you can't run day to day. There, we'll just set her up like that. And kicking things over. Okay, guys, so exhaust is 104 after top dead center. That's right where I expected it to be on this setup. At that kind of exhaust height, this thing would probably pull super hard, but it won't be very fast. So that's not a bad place to be if you're going for just raw grunt. If you don't care about speed, I would leave it there. I'm going to attempt to go high speed, high torque, which again, try it for yourself, but you can make a fast saw that also pulls chain like a madman. You got to know how to get that air moving and the moves, but that's what we're going to attempt to do. I am super happy with this setup right now. The transfer's open. I'm happy with that kind of timing on my transfers. My exhaust port is low, so I have a lot of room to reshape and raise the exhaust port. My intake number is low enough, meaning the port is high enough that it opens late enough that if I drop the cylinder, I mean, I could drop the cylinder 40 thousandths, 50 thousandths on this and make a pop-up out of the top of this piston and not go too far on my intake. Because again, if your intake's open too long, it will spit back through the carburetor. Be aware of that. Like I always say, guys, a couple degrees. You can go farther than a couple degrees, but only if you use the timing wheel, you know what the numbers mean and where you're going with them, and you know the limits. Don't open your exhaust too long because the saw will scream. You might over rev your pistons or your bearings. Again, standard bearings will not rev to a certain number. You get them to that number, they'll skate and you will grenade the bottom end. You certainly don't want the saw cutting there. You will drop all your torque off with a super high exhaust roof. If your intake's open too long, it will draw too much fuel and air in, and when it starts coming down, it won't close soon enough. The case pressure will exceed the atmospheric pressure and it will backfeed through your carb, and you'll have a saw that spits fuel. It won't idle, it won't tune. Sometimes those saws will go good in the wood, but the minute you throw it down, it's going to die. So there you guys go. I'm super excited to get a start on this, and we're going to throw a couple more builds into the mix, but I think primarily I'm going to work on this. And Buckin's been waiting a few months for this build, and I want to get it to him as soon as possible. Doesn't mean we're going to rush it though. We're going to do it right. We're going to make it a nasty saw. Anyhow, as always, I always appreciate you guys being here. Keep the comments, questions. You guys know what to do. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and thanks for being here. Later.